Hey guys, CB here with a special Halloween related video today. I know Halloween is in 15 days as the time I'm recording this, but I wanted to do something a little bit special. If you've noticed recently, the Queen of Lions had narrated a Loud House poem that I made called Lucy Loud's Halloween. And today I figured, well, why not talk about it? How did this poem come to be? And why did the Queen of Lions narrate it? Well, it's going to be hard to talk about, but I'm going to do my best at it. But anyways, let's get started. So, the first question, how did this poem come to be? What was the idea behind it? Well, believe it or not, the poem, I mentioned this a couple times before, both to the Queen of Lions and even Space Voyager. I mentioned that I originally wrote the poem back in 2018, so almost 3 years ago. So, yeah, but how did it come into my mind? What was the idea for that? Well, for those of you who are watching this, the idea came from, looking back on it, I don't know how it came into my head. Like, I remember one day, I think it was when we were at church one Sunday, like, all of a sudden, these words just jump, like, into my head. Like, monsters, bats, skeletal bones, spiders crawling, zombies moan. Like, all of that just, like, came into my head one day. And I figured, I was like, where'd that come from? And then I thought to myself, hey, that sounds like a good Halloween poem. That sounds like something Lucy Loud would do. Because at the time, I was really getting into the Loud House. Because I watched a couple of episodes. I did some research on the characters, especially Lucy herself. And because of that, the rhymes came into my head. And I was like, that sounds like something Lucy Loud would do. So maybe I should make that into some kind of poem, like a screenshot or something. In fact, that's what you're looking at right now. Interestingly enough, the poem wasn't called Lucy Loud's Halloween. It was Halloween by Lucy Loud herself. Again, as you can see on the screen. The reason for that was because, it is true I myself had written the poem. I wanted to give the illusion, like, what if Lucy came up with it, Because one thing the Queen of Lions addressed in her review of the story was it would really fit Lucy's character. And I do want to make this clear. Queen of Lions, if you're watching this, if you thought it was because it would sound like something Lucy would come up with, then that is correct. Again, this is if you were thinking that, okay? I'm not trying to assume that you were, okay? But yeah, again, the idea for that was if Lucy came up with that poem. Because, she's into poetry. She's a goth girl. She likes things that are kind of scary. And she loves Halloween, as mentioned in Tricked, the first Halloween episode of The Loud House that came out. So yeah, that's kind of how it went for me. I came up with it. I wrote it. And yeah, I put her character in there. However, there was one thing that might seem confusing to you guys. Why does it say by Lucy Loud? Well, again, I did address it, of course. I did address why. But there is one thing my mom didn't understand. My mom actually thought I was actually giving credit to someone named Lucy. She thought I was giving credit to an actual person named Lucy Loud, which that wasn't true, and that's not really true at all. But that's what my mom was thinking. So, even when I explained to my mom who Lucy Loud was, she asked me if I could, maybe put my own name in there instead, as the author of the poem. And, yeah, I was like, she does have a point. And even I myself, even now, I now got why she was confused. She thought I was giving credit to this fictional character. So yeah, and she did have a good point. So that's why I relabeled it as Lucy Loud's Halloween and put my own name in there instead of hers. So that's the original version, but what about the extended version? Well, the extended version was written 1 year later, on October 26th, 2019. Literally 1 year after the original version. So, with this version, the one the Queen of Lions narrated, I was trying to come up with, some other ideas. Because, when I was looking at the original, I kept thinking, it's too short. I should add some more to it. So I came up with these other rhymes, what were they? Oh yeah, they were, what were they again? Oh yeah, now I remember. It was like, you make your way out, closing the door, your feet tiptoeing on a creaky wooden floor, that kind of stuff. I was kind of making that stuff up as I went along. However, there was one rhyme that I tried to come up with, but just didn't really work. And it was after the walking down the hallway one, where it was like, you walk down the stairs. And I tried to come up with something that could rhyme with it, but the only thing I got was air. But I already had another rhyme, saying, involving cold wind and cold air. This meant I was using the word cold twice. And I didn't want to do that, because this meant I was being a little repetitive or redundant. So that's why the rhyme got rejected. And it's kind of funny I say this, because one thing the Queen of Lions did address in her review was, what could I have done to make the poem better? Personally, I could have made it a little bit longer, not too long, but just long enough so it wouldn't be as short. Because even now, the extended version is still a little bit short, but not as short as the original version. So, again, to answer your question, Queen of Lions, I could have made it better by making it a little bit longer, but not too long. And actually, now that I say that, what do you guys think? Do you guys think I should make it longer? Should I leave it the way it is? Give me your thoughts about that in the comments below. And, yeah. I know I say that toward the end, but I'm sorry. Again, I'm rambling. I apologize. So, I guess that answers the first question. Well, actually, 2 questions. I didn't address there was an extended version until just now. Anyways, let's get on to the next and final question. Why did you let the Queen of Lions narrate it? Well, here's an interesting story behind that. Lucy Loud's Halloween was the first Loud House-style fanfic I sort of came up with. I'm not kidding. This was actually the first style fanfic I came up with for the Loud House. And that includes the extended version. Anyways, why did you let the Queen of Lions narrate it? Well, I've been watching a lot of her videos where she's, taken, stories that other people have made and gave her own thoughts on it. And then I thought, well, hey, I've got this poem. I've got the Loud House poem I made a couple years ago. Why not let her narrate that to show her, hey, I'm sort of a pretty good writer myself. And so we did. Granted, we went through a couple of troubles. By we, I mean me and my friend. We went through a couple of troubles trying to send it to her, but we finally figured it out. I forgot to accept her request. So, yeah, she got the poem, and she narrated it a couple days ago, and she gave out her own thoughts, and I really appreciate that. And I really wasn't expecting her to give that poem a 10 out of 10. I was surprised. I was really happy that she rated the story a 10 out of 10. And that she said that she loved it. That makes me so happy. So, yeah. And by the way, for those of you who are watching this, the link to the Queen of Lions narrating the poem will be in the description below. And, yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about Lucy Loud's Halloween. I know this video is not that perfect. Again, I'm sorry for rambling. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video as to how this Loud House poem came to be. And again, thank you to the Queen of Lions for narrating it. I, again, really appreciate everything you said. And I hope you guys Really enjoyed this. Again, I know I'm repeating myself. Anyways, what did you guys think of this video? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Again, could I have made the poem longer, or should I leave it the way it is? Give us your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Happy early Halloween, and may the force be with you.